Awesome. Well, hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hope you're having a great day. So thanks for hopping on. We have a great guest tonight in Katie Flynn. We kind of switched calls this month. I know a lot of y'all had been asking about, since we all have our jobs outside of coaching, like how to create a sustainable or grow a sustainable coaching business while working a full-time job too. So Katie actually did that and was able to go full-time. And so she's going to share a story and give us some helpful tips and everything. So since I think I don't do the paid Zoom, so we have 40 minutes. So I'll just go ahead and pass it off to Katie to chat. So.
Okay, cool. That was going to be my first question because I was on Jamie King's call last night and then I saw that ticker go off and I was like, oh my gosh. And I started rambling so quick because I got nervous I was going to run out of time. So, okay, I'll look at the clock and know that I have to talk fast. But thank you for having me. Jason did our call Monday and it was so helpful for my team. So I'm glad to be able to pay it back and speak to you guys tonight. I'm going to be talking about, like he said, how you can focus in on making your business thrive and start to grow it even while still having that full-time job. Just 5 different points I'm going to go over. Some of them might seem like very basic things, but I always tell my coaches, you have to hear some of the most basic things from multiple people for it to really sink in eventually. So I hope that something from this, you get some good little nuggets to think about and start changing some things around in your day to move forward. So just to give you a quick background, when I tell my story on camera, it's always 20 minutes. So I say this is the 20-minute version in about 20 seconds. So basically I started this business because I was on my own health and fitness journey. I had 60 pounds to lose. And by the time that my coach, Nikki Whiting, had presented the business to me, I had lost about 20 pounds. So when that point came and I was hitting a plateau in my weight loss, I kept saying, what can I do better? What can I change? I wasn't drinking Shakeology at that point because I was working in the salon, couldn't afford it. I was still living with my parents, but a very independent person. So I wouldn't dare ask them hey, will you buy this for me? I'm living in your house. I'm 22 years old. So that wasn't an option for me. So signing up to coach made sense for me only for the discount. So she presented to me and I was all in for the discount aspect of it. I had no aspirations to be a coach anybody, post on social media, run groups, nothing, any of that. And it took about 2 weeks of me just continuing to be on these programs. I went from Turbo Fire to T25 and was losing weight, started Shakeology, felt great, was posting about it because I was just a 22-year-old girl posting on social media. It wasn't clicking for me that that's what coaches do. And Nikki was like, I can't take it anymore. You're coaching, but you're not. You need to just commit to doing it because people are asking you what you're doing. And I kept sending them to Nikki. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is my coach. Join her group. She can take care of you. She was like, I'm not taking one more of your people. So I decided that I was going to dive in and do it. But in my mind, I had failed so many times in my life doing other things. I dropped out of college. I went to hair school and I worked in a salon for 3 full years, but literally right away, I knew I didn't have a passion for it. And so did my parents. But I tried to push through it because I didn't want to quit another thing. So when this coaching opportunity was presented to me, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make it work because I refuse to fail at one more thing in my life and have my parents be disappointed in me. So I was the youngest child, black sheep of the family. Everybody had already at that point graduated from college, had great jobs. And then it was there's that last one that's not sure what she's doing with her life. So when I decided to jump in and actually run challenge groups and all that, it was blinders on, I'm just going to do this. So my first point is treating your business like a business. When we sign up to coach, we are essentially becoming CEOs of our own business. Even though we work under or for, however you want to say it, Beachbody, our business is our business. My business is mine and yours is yours, and it's completely different. And you essentially overnight become my sister and I always joke like, okay, we sign up to coach and then it's like overnight I'm supposed to be some marketing genius that knows everything about social media. And we know that that's not true because it's not something you learn overnight. But you have to just continue to learn and grow and figure out what works for you and your business and take it seriously. Speaking definitely with confidence at every level. If you just signed up to coach yesterday, you take ownership of your business. If you've been in it for a year, 5 years, whatever, you take ownership of your business. There's no difference from a coach, an emerald coach, a diamond coach, a star diamond coach, a superstar diamond coach. Everyone is the same in my eyes. Another thing too, I always tell my coaches is that, you sign up and, you want to get this thing thriving and you have busy lives and stuff. And you're going to have those people that doubt you. And whether it be just people on social media or the haters, we all have them, family members, spouses, whatever. What they're waiting for is your lapse in consistency. So they're waiting for you to not continue doing, Beachbody because they don't believe in it and they're just waiting for that day for you to stop doing it. So that gives me enough motivation or gave me enough motivation in the beginning to just push past that and have so much consistency every day that wasn't an option for me. Like I said, failure just wasn't an option. And I was listening to Girl Code this morning, great audio PD. And on there, she says, like, if you have enough passion for what you're doing, you'll never fail. So I thought that was very true as well. And then another example is so like when I was in college for the 3 semesters I was there, and if gone to any schooling, that those books that you have to buy are ridiculously expensive. It's insane. And if you were to go, to your first college class on day one, you invested into not only schooling itself, but also, the books and everything. You get there and there's a note on the door that says, hey, sorry, you're just going to have to do everything yourself. And at the end of the semester, we'll take a test and we'll see how everything goes. Love your professor. And that would suck really bad, wouldn't it? If you had to teach yourself everything. So consistency, not only on social media, but showing up for what we do. We are supposed to coach people. You can't run a challenge group for 2 months and then fall off the wagon and not run a challenge group. And then 2 months later, you decide, oh, maybe I'll run a challenge group this month and then fall off. I feel like that is the sole purpose of why we're doing this, is to help others because we found success in it, or we are finding success on our journey along the way in it. And what we are, having those people do when they sign up for a challenge pack or a program or Shakeology or joining any group, it's our duty to help them, and the same thing with Success Club. I always say, I made a promise to myself that I was going to hit Success Club every month. And if I don't do that, I feel like I let myself down, because not anybody else, not my upline, not my success partner, whoever. I let myself down because I feel like it was my job that I was supposed to go help 3 people. So that has to do with consistency as well. If somebody signs up with you, they're putting your journey in your hands, and it's up to you to follow through that from day 1 to day 60 or day 1 to day 90 or day 1 to 5 years down the road. If they're still with you in your challenge groups, continually staying with them along their journey. So something that I also did at the beginning of my business that helped me while I was still working in the salon, super busy. I knew that I needed to have the insane confidence to be able to speak to people about this because, and Jason, you can kind of attest to this, I was working on such a face-to-face business that, I was losing weight with the programs, and then people were asking me, and I would be like, oh my God, don't ask me anything. I don't want to talk about it. I just get so nervous to talk to people face-to-face. And, you might have the same nerves talking to people behind a computer as well. It's nerve-wracking. You might not even be a new coach if you've been around a while and you still feel that way. Then what I suggest is definitely diving more into personal development than you ever have before. And you're probably like, not rolling your eyes right in front of me, but maybe secretly thinking, oh my gosh, she's actually going to talk about personal development right now. But I will say that the first 6 months of my business, I didn't pick up a book, listen to an audio, read anything, no YouTube videos, nothing. I did 0 PD. And I came to a roadblock of a lack of confidence and belief in myself in the business that I went to Nikki and said, I just don't get it. What am I doing wrong? What can I change? And she was like, I don't think you've ever read one book, have you? And I was like, no, I haven't. I don't think I need that. And she was like, no, you need it. Trust me. So I dove into that to help myself grow, not only personally, because I was extremely introverted. I would have never spoke on a team call 3 years ago. Social anxiety, depression. I mean, mental health, just mark them all off because I have them. And I needed to have some way to overcome that. So PD was extremely helpful in that aspect. And it helped me to gain a ton of confidence to have more ownership of my business again, to be able to feel like I deserve to tell people which program was the best for them, and to feel confident behind that and not feel like I was trying to sell them something or something like that. So insane confidence is number 2. Number 3 is don't reinvent the wheel when it's not necessary. So we are extremely, extremely lucky, you guys, to come from the upline that we come from. I know that Jason is a rock star coach, and you guys are getting great information and leadership from him. And then it goes one step up from that. You're getting extreme leadership from Nikki, Stephanie Chico, Brandy Botts, and so on and so on. It is like, honestly, not we might take it for granted because we're used to it, and that's how we came to the business. That's the only thing we know. But you'd be shocked, the people that message me and say, hey, like I saw, you were doing blah, blah, blah group clean meeting, and, I'll have to say like, oh, you're a coach, and, it's just for my team, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, your team is so lucky because my upline doesn't even have, groups for us, or my upline doesn't have a team page, and we don't have team calls. And there's coaches out there that don't have the leadership that we do. So we're lucky. So don't take that for granted. Nikki is top 25 in the company, and we have, all her knowledge in the palm of our hands. And when I was starting this business, would just follow Nikki as much as I could to figure out what is she doing. Because when I started, we didn't have Coach Basics groups, or the online office wasn't as updated as it is now. The tools we have now for new coaches is unbelievable to help them grow and start their businesses. But, we didn't have that in the beginning. So it came a lot from just following, what others did, and teaming up together and figuring it out, basically as we went. And I just realized that I didn't need to reinvent the wheel where it wasn't necessary. I think that there's a fine line between reinventing the wheel and being creative, because it's great to be creative. It's great to have your own ideas. If you think something is going to work and you're going to rock it, some new idea for your team page or for your challenge group or whatever, try it. That's awesome. But if it doesn't work, move on and try something else. Trial and error is huge in this business. Jason and I were talking a lot about that with Facebook ads. It's a lot of trial and error. If something doesn't work, give it up and move on to figure out what does. So I give this tip to my coaches a lot. I say go to the elite leaderboard in the online office. You'll find it there. And see who the top 25 coaches are right now, and go to their pages and just look what they're doing. Just scroll their pages, their Instagrams, whatever it is, and see what they're doing, because obviously they're there for a reason and they're doing something right. It doesn't have to be the top 25 in the company. Go to different coaches' pages that you feel like you just relate to, maybe on the team. Go to, Nikki's page, my page, Carly Wood, other people that are leaders on the team that have, maybe been around just a little bit longer to have things working just a little bit better right now. But, follow what those coaches are doing and try to gain inspiration to then make your own and, put it into action for your business. Like Jen Richardson is a huge inspiration for me. I love her page. I love her social media. But I have never once gone on there and copy and pasted something for her, obviously, because that would be crazy. But I go there to gain inspiration because I think she totally just kills her social media. But I have like a list, again, of like 10 to 15 coaches that I follow to gain inspiration from. Be friends with people on the team. That is huge. This business is so much about the community, not only in just our teams, but Team Beachbody in general. I know that that's something that I love about the business. there are a million things that I can sit here and say I love about the business, but the friendships are like on the very top of my list. Like, I know that if Beachbody was gone tomorrow, that I would have so many friends, that I gained through this that I would still have for the rest of my life. So, when you're growing your business and you're trying to figure things out, try to find those people, whether it be a success partner or forming like a success pod of 4 or 5 different coaches, and have a lot of communication. Don't just see each other once a week on a team call or something. Private message each other. Be present in your team pages, whether it's Jason's page or in Beatnik, wherever it is. Be present in there to be seen. If you are newer and you need to ask questions, use those tools to be able to ask questions. And if you've been around a while and you have figured some things out, post tips in there. I know that when my coaches do that in my team page, I'm like, thank you so much. That's so great that you took the time to do that for our team page. I really appreciate it. So take some time to be just seen, more in your team pages. Okay. Let's see. All right. My favorite is short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. And this has a lot to do with still working that full-time job and trying to continually find the balance. When am I going to do my Beachbody stuff? When am I going to be working? Some of you have families, where's family time fitting in there, and trying to figure it out. And it's not something that happens overnight. I still, try to find balance with certain things in my life. But I knew that when I was working in the salon, I had to be so strict with my schedule because I had to be, or I wouldn't have those hidden minutes in my day to find to do the things I needed to do to grow my business. So a quote from Melanie Mitro that I absolutely love. I have it written in my office. She said, I think it was on a wake-up call one time. She said, I'm willing to work for 3 years how others won't, so I can do in the future what others can't. And she's just meaning that, grinding and hustling for the first maybe 3 years of your business, it's going to be hard. It's going to take sacrifice. But if you stay consistent and that's just an example, that's maybe what she thinks, 3 years. But if it's 2 years for you, or 3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years, to get to a point where you're like, I think I made it. I think I made this work. I can leave my full-time job, making a great income. I'm happy with where I'm at, and, so on and so on. So, I just passed my 3-year mark in the business, and I'm very happy with where I'm at in my business. I'm very grateful every day for the team that I have and the people I've met and the income I was able to make, or I'm able to make. It's crazy to me that we are able to build a business from basically nothing, doing it on social media. And the reason I credit that to is literally sacrificing a lot in the beginning, especially that first year and a half area. I felt like there was things that I could eliminate from my day that weren't necessary anymore. I used to be addicted to Bravo TV. I would know every Real Housewives name, everything about them, every store they shop in, and every boyfriend they ever had. Okay, so that was something that was not necessary for me anymore. So that was something, as an example, I could eliminate from my day. TV was not important to me anymore. Certain times when, maybe Josh and I's friends were asking us to go out, and it was a Saturday night and they wanted to go out to a bar or something, but I knew that Monday morning my challenge group was going to open up and I hadn't done anything for it yet. I had to pass because I wanted to stay home and open my challenge group because I knew it was going to start on Monday. And it wasn't always like that. I'm not telling you that you need to make Beachbody your life, live and breathe for this first year and a half, 2 years, whatever. But, because again, Beachbody is supposed to give you life and not be your life. I'm telling my coaches that all the time. If you get to a point where you're starting to resent the business and you feel like that's all you do, you're doing it wrong. Beachbody should give you freedoms, even if they're this big in the beginning. And they should help you, with your life, mentally, physically, financially. So, just sacrificing things in the beginning is huge because you're going to thank yourself in the future that you found those times in your day that you could make things work. So for me, when I was working in the salon, I hated waking up early, you guys. Like if I had to be at the salon at 9 a.m., I would used to wake up at like literally 8:45 to get there at 9. I was 2 minutes away from my house. But when I knew that I had to get my workout in early because it fit better into my schedule and it fit better into my sister's schedule because we were working out together, we had our butts up at 6 a.m. every morning. It was so terrible. I hated it, but I was able to get my workout in, having a straight hour of having a power hour, and then I could go to work. On the days where I was working longer or earlier, something came up where I had to work earlier in the morning or something, then I had to split it up. And if it was 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here, and 15 minutes here, I still got an hour of work in a day because I split it up. And I'm talking like putting color on someone's head and running to the back and like checking into my challenge group, running out, rinsing someone's hair, doing their hair, going in the back. I mean, just back and forth. And that's how it was for a while. And yeah, it might have been a little bit stressful and crazy and a lot to handle, but I knew in the back of my mind, I'm doing this for a reason. This is all going to be worth it someday. I'm putting in the work. I'm showing up. I'm consistent. And that's how it had to be. Okay, I think you guys got the point. Short-term sacrifice, long-term gain. You'll thank yourself.
And that pretty much has been my day at the salon. Like in between, I have about 7.5 minutes if I'm fully booked with massages to set the room up, go downstairs, pick up the next person, and I have my phone in my hand walking up and down the stairs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like my sister, she used to work 12 hours a day at my dad's car dealership. And she would literally, like, while she was peeing, she's like, that's when I got on my phone, when I was on the toilet, because that's what I had to do. We always laugh about it. I'm like, but hey, it's what you have to do to put the work in, whatever, those hidden minutes throughout your day, however you can find them. To make it work. And I tell my coaches too, like if I have a coach that comes to me and says, I have no time for this, I have them log for 7 days exactly what they do for 7 days straight. I'm talking like from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, every single minute logged. I'm like, it's going to be annoying and you're going to hate me this week, but I promise you, you're going to find time to do this business because you're going to find those hidden minutes where you're not doing anything. You maybe could have something like TV or something you give up. Same thing when we tell our challengers. You can eliminate your Starbucks to have your Shakeology. There are ways to make everything work. Trust me, I figured it out with all my coaches. Crazy busy moms, teachers, anything. You really just have to have, over time find that balance. And again, it does not happen overnight. Okay, so communication with family is another part of this short-term sacrifice. When I was hustling very hard, it was weird for my family to see that. Again, I was living with my parents still, and, Josh and I were dating. We weren't living together yet, but he basically was living at my parents at the time. And they were kind of shocked at how much I was working, even on the weekends and stuff like that. And having my phone out maybe at dinner, and I really didn't have good communication in the beginning. And to other people that don't understand it, that's annoying. Somebody has their phone on them at all hours of the day and they just don't get it. And I started to realize that I had to express why. And I had to sit my family down and say, I am doing this for me and my business for the future. It's not always going to be like this. If Josh had a dime for every time I said it's not always going to be like this, we'd probably be millionaires by now, because I literally was always saying that, I'm sorry, it's not going to be like this always, but it's going to be worth it. And now he's like my number one supporter in this business and can't believe, what you can turn it into. But it's hard when, your significant other or your family is like, hey, let's watch a movie tonight. And you're like, sorry, I have to get on a team call, or sorry, I have to have a one-on-one with my coaches. And they're just rolling their eyes and frustrated by it. But as long as you express to them that it's not always going to be like that, and that you have, different boundaries for yourself and your business, then hopefully they'll start to understand. I am a really bad example of a business hours coach. When I have new coaches come onto my team and they ask me well, what are your business hours? I've tried it and failed it so many times that I just realized that I'm definitely more a fly by the seat of my pants type of coach. I'm just roll with the punches, make my schedule daily as I go or weekly, but I'm not a coach that's okay, I have one of my diamond coaches, from 9 to 10 p.m. She literally bangs out a power hour every night after she puts her baby down, and that's what she has to do. And that is her one office hour during the day. And that's great. That works for her. But with me, it just doesn't work for me. I just do things differently every day. But if you need a schedule like that, definitely try it. You have to express to your team at that point, or your coaches, hey, these are my office hours and this is when I'm going to be available to talk. If that works for you, that's great. I started to realize in that first, year and a half, 2 years of hustle, that I was becoming a slave to my inbox and feeling the need to answer people right away. Guys, that is so untrue. You don't need to answer people right away. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to go to another coach because you didn't answer them in 6 hours. You can let that message sit there. And I do that with my coaches too. I try to clear my inbox once every, once a day, once every 2 days to get it to 0. But, I'll let messages sit there, and that's okay with me because I'm not going to be there all day, answering messages. Okay. That's it for that. Okay, last one is just stop making excuses and just do it. Because I guarantee you guys have excuses in your head maybe now, or you have in the past, or you will in the future, whatever, that you are constantly telling yourself. And I had a lot of the same in the beginning as well. I don't have time. I don't have the confidence. I am not at my goal weight. Who's going to want to follow me? I had all those in my mind. And the reality is, guys, is that this business is for anyone, and that you are going to reach people and inspire people for what you are and what you have to offer as a coach. So those excuses, for example, the one that I had in the beginning about not being at my goal weight, I still had 40 pounds to lose. I threw that out the door because I started to realize that I was sharing my journey, and people were wanting to, they're relating to me that they need to lose weight, and they were watching that and they were coming on board. So it almost made it easier in a way. I tell my coaches that come on that need, to get to their goal weight still, I'm like, you actually have an advantage. You really do, because you have, a journey to share. The excuses of I don't know what I have to put out there to be relatable to. You just have to figure it out. Maybe you need more personal development to find out more about yourself. I found out so much about myself that was shoved to the back of my mind that maybe needed to push to the forefront when I dove into personal development that I never would have ever shared about myself or been open about. Even things that I found that I started to like, things that you share on social media that you want to attract people that like the same things. That's going to come through, personal development as well. Personal development isn't just about having a positive mind. There's a lot more that goes into it. So find what is relatable to you. Sit down and make a list and write out every single thing that comes to your mind that you like, you do, you enjoy, is relatable to your family, things you do on the weekend, places you like to go to, anything, stores you like to shop in, the makeup you like to buy, whatever it is, write it down. And then that will start to help you form, your list of like 5 to 7 things that you're going to start portraying on social media that you're going to attract those people to. So there really is no excuses for anyone in this business. We have all the tools. We have everything in the palm of our hand, and us especially have a great team to work from. It's just a matter of finding that balance, figuring out what works for you, a lot of trial and error, and staying consistent, and that's going to get you there. The time is going to pass anyways, you guys, so you might as well start building your business in the now. It's going to pass. You don't want a year to come from now and start having those regrets of I wish I would have done more in that first year, because I've had personally sponsored coaches. I have one specifically in mind. She was one of my coaches from 2013, started this business almost the same exact time as me. And she is still signed up as a coach, still drinks her Shakeology, still does challenge groups here and there. She's not consistent, and that's her biggest regret. She feels like she's too far gone now, that she can't get back into it, which isn't true. I tell her all the time she can get back into it whenever she wants. But she has that regret that for the first 3 years, she didn't build her business, and she's not, where she wants to be. So have no regrets and just do it now. All right, guys, I think that's all I have for tonight.
That was awesome. My hand's a little tired now. Just took 4 pages of notes.
I talk fast too, sorry.
No, I like it. I love it. But since we do have a couple minutes, I did want to open it up. If y'all had any questions, just like you can unmute yourselves or I'll unmute you. But
yeah, for sure.
That way we can, if y'all have any questions. What y'all think?
That was great. Thank you so much, Katie.
You're welcome.
Like, I've been trying to figure out what it is, like, and I talked to Jason about this on Sunday, but like what my biggest hesitation is. And I think it's honestly, I think a lot of it's fear. Because right now I'm satisfied with my career that I have now. And this, I'm really trying to get to the root of like why it is that I wanted to do this in the first place. And using that as kind of like my platform to build this business off of. So, I don't know. It is a lot of personal development. I'm glad you kind of pinpointed that a lot, because I think that's really what it kind of boils down to for me.
Yeah, and it helps you figure out, that why too. And your why is always changing. That's the thing. Like, my why for when I first started this business is not what my why is necessarily all now. Like, it's always going to change. But figuring out that, like you said, that first reason, like what interested you when you first even heard the word Beachbody, what was it that piqued that interest and why you wanted to start it? Figuring that out is definitely going to be like your North Star to look back to and be like, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah. But no, I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I know if you had one thing for new coaches, like just one outlet for tracking in the very beginning, like what's your favorite way of tracking or organizing?
Okay, so I'm probably a horrible person to talk about this, but I actually, strangely, am a pen to paper person. I know people are like some people get very techie. Like, some of my coaches are like Excel spreadsheets and all that. And I have, again, trial and error, tried it, and I never seem to stick with it. I've tried all different systems, like websites to try and track, and I can't even think of some of the names of them right now, but I always go back to pen and paper because it's what works for me. I love seeing it written in front of me. If I'm going to go and make like a list of, people I'm tracking on Instagram, it's on pen and paper. And my challengers for my next group, it's on pen and paper. Sometimes I will, if I'm on the go, utilize my phone notes or Google Sheets or something like that. But truly, pen and paper is like what it is for me.
Yeah.
And Google Forms. I love Google Forms for like challenge groups and stuff like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else for tonight before we head out?
No, but thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. If you guys think of anything else, you can shoot me an inbox as well. But thanks for having me, Jason.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like, hopefully we can do this again sometime. And Mom's been blowing my phone up the whole time. She's like, I can't make it happen. I'm so sad. I've been trying and trying and trying.
Aw, well, you recorded it, so hey girl, we missed you.
Well, alrighty guys, and I'll be making some announcements too in our team page afterwards, just with some upcoming dates. But thank you so much, Katie. That was absolutely amazing. Like, I can't wait to type all these notes up and make them more comprehensible. But
all right, thanks guys.
We'll see y'all later.
Bye. Thank you.